Hello everyone, this is Arwen from Even Star. Welcome to my Facebook Live for this week, which is the last in my series about the chakras. And today we're up to the last but not least, our crown chakra, which is right on top of your head. And this one is all about connection and spirituality and our sense of ourselves as spiritual beings. And I think that this is something that is very missing, and we have a great disconnection from it, disconnection from this connection in our modern day life, partly I think because of just so much busyness, so much distraction. So like I spoke about last week with our sixth chakra, and really lacking that priority that we might otherwise give to just stopping and being and turning ourselves inwards and being able to use that sixth chakra, insight and intuition, and then with the seventh chakra here, with that sense of connection of us being all the same, oneness, all connected to every other living being that is in existence on this planet, and even that sense of connection with the earth. And of course we go then into the real cyclical nature of our chakra energy as well, and we're returning with the seventh chakra back to the first chakra and our connection with the earth through this energy as well. The important thing here, and the problem that we have when we're so disconnected from ourselves as spiritual beings, is that if we don't resolve things on those emotional and spiritual levels to start with, then that is when they manifest on the physical level in physical illness and health problems and pain. So it is a really important part of life, and one that, as I said, I think many of us these days do discount, and even kind of have a negative opinion of, think it's all a bit woo-woo and doesn't apply to me, because we are all so much just living in the physical reality of go, go, go. So I would really encourage you to take some time to think about yourself as a spiritual being and what that means for your life and for your overall well-being as well. So if you have trouble with that concept, then some things that may be apparent in your physical body, in your physical life, if you have an imbalance in this energy center, are things like your sense of pain being, I guess, abnormal, being very acute. You feel pain very acutely, or very dulled. You don't seem to have the same level of pain as other people. Any neurological issues and cognitive disorders can be indicative of imbalance here as well. Numbness, overall numbness in parts of the body, or an emotional numbness that you just don't have very strong emotions about anything anymore. People who have the looks or the energy levels of somebody who is a very different age to what they really are. So perhaps you look like somebody who is a lot older than what you really are, or you have the energy levels of somebody who's 10 years younger, can indicate an imbalance. Now, remembering here that we're looking at imbalance on a spectrum, so we can be either overactive or underactive in our energetic levels in each of our chakras. And in either case, at either end of the spectrum, this can result in problems. So although it might sound great if you have energy levels of someone much younger, there can be problems with this as well, that there's a mismatch between your spiritual self and your physical body. If you have a high sensitivity to your surroundings, to being, very sensitive to things that go through your senses, noise, light, toxins in the air, anything like that can be indicative of imbalance. Abnormal day-night patterns. So the gland that is associated with our seventh chakra is the pineal gland, and this is the one that controls our metabolism. releases melatonin, which controls our sleep patterns. So if you are somebody who is a real night owl, you struggle to get to sleep at night, you would prefer to sleep well into the day if you could, then this can be indicative of an imbalance in this gland potentially, and related to that, of course, the seventh chakra, your crown chakra. If you get a lot of headache or migraine, this can be associated with this energy center, as well as the sixth chakra, the third eye, which we spoke about last week. So they are the main things that you might be able to relate to, and then that might click in that perhaps this seventh chakra, this sense of yourself as a spiritual being and connection with all other beings on the planet, in the universe, is something that's a bit out of balance for you. So if that's the case, you may find it difficult to have that sense of connection and sense of, I guess, empathy with other people and other things, and not a great awareness of what is going on around you in terms of environmentally, as far as, is there a lot of pollution? Do you have a lot of toxins happening in your home or your workplace, or just the streets in which you walk around? This can all be indicative of an imbalance. And remember, we're talking about a spectrum, so the other applies as well. If you're extremely sensitive to what's going on around you, to other people, to the pain of other creatures, then you could have an imbalance here as well. You may struggle to see yourself, as we mentioned before, as a spiritual being, or at the other end of the spectrum, you may really live your life in the spiritual world, just be kind of, as some people might describe, off with the fairies, rather than being grounded in the reality of the physical world we live in. So either of those extremes, again, can indicate an imbalance in this area. If you don't believe in the soul, or in the manner of thinking of ourselves as human beings as souls in physical bodies, rather than physical bodies that have souls, then a strong feeling about either of those concepts could indicate imbalance in this area. If we have a really balanced seventh chakra, really balanced crown energy, then we have a great sense of purpose and feel that things have meaning, and like to look into the deeper understanding of things. Now, again, looking at the spectrum, if we're really obsessed with this, we feel that every little thing that happens has a deeper meaning. Or on the other hand, we really find it hard to reflect. We tend to just act rather than sitting back, thinking, reflecting, what is the deeper meaning and connection that's going on with this thing I'm dealing with, then that can again be an indication of imbalance. If we are very devoted to meditation or prayer, or the opposite, we never do it, we don't believe it's going to help in our well-being, then again, this can be another indication of imbalance. So if you are listening to this and thinking, yep, that sounds like me, I think I might be imbalanced, what can you do about it? Well, as always, I'll take you through my 5-star wellbeing approach. So going through each of the aspects of 5-star wellbeing and looking at what you can do to help with balance here. So we're very much talking here about detoxifying in all ways, so letting go of anything toxic in our lives. So the first aspect, of course, is food. And what we can do here is really focus on making sure that we are only eating real foods. So not those food-like substances that pack our supermarket shelves, but real foods grown from the earth that your grandparents and great-grandparents would recognize as food is always the best option. So the more toxic substances that we put in and on our bodies, the more difficult it is for this crown chakra to be balanced. So I would certainly encourage you to also consider detoxifying your digestive system through fasting. So that doesn't need to be a big deal. More and more people and more research is being done into the practice of intermittent fasting, and the easiest way to do this is to have a bit of a fast overnight, in terms of making sure that you are not eating for a period of at least 12 hours overnight. And so many of my clients are starting to do this now and finding really great results, and it's a really easy way to give your digestive system a break and allow it to do what it needs to do as far as processing what you eat and getting rid of waste products efficiently. The other thing to think about is organic foods are going to be the most pure, without toxins, without any added chemicals. And what I would suggest with this is, if that is a financial constraint for you, then think about the top 3 things that you eat. So say you have oats for breakfast every day, then I would suggest that you make that an organic purchase. So think through the top 3 things that you consume within your household and make those the organic versions. The other thing to consider is the fruits and vegetables, especially, that are really susceptible to retaining the residue of pesticides and herbicides and fungicides that are sprayed by farmers on crops that they grow to make them grow more efficiently. So being aware of what they are and perhaps considering buying them in the organic version. There's a great list available through the American Environmental Working Group that you can get, called the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. Bearing in mind that if you are here in Australia, where I am, then our practices are slightly different, but it's a really good indication of which produce rather, are going to be important to buy organically if you possibly can. And expressing gratitude is a great way to cleanse and detoxify as well. So actually taking that moment to express gratitude for what you're about to eat would be a great practice with food as well. Second aspect of 5-star wellbeing is movement. So in fact, doing some exercise at a really high intensity can take you out of your body and into your spiritual level a bit more. Now, that doesn't apply for everyone. It depends if that works for you. On the opposite end of the scale with movement is yoga, is a really great practice of connecting everything, all levels of our beings, our physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies are all worked out during a yoga session. So that's something to consider. And being in nature in general. So I'll talk about this with regards to movement. So if you can possibly move your body in nature, then that's making that sameness, that connection with everything else, more obvious to you. That also comes up in my aspect of surroundings as well, which I'll talk about in a moment. Sleep, really important. So as I mentioned before, the pineal gland is the gland activated and associated with this chakra. So making sure that you have regular patterns of sleep. If this is really difficult for you, it's probably something to investigate, because it is so important for our well-being. I do have a number of blogs and quite a lot of information about sleep on my website. So if you just go there to evenstarwellbeing.com and just click on the search and search for sleep, there's quite a few articles in there about sleep and simple things that you can do to help yourself to sleep better. Because the pineal gland controls our melatonin, which controls our sleep, this is activated by exposure to daylight as well. So really trying to use that wonderful tool of the sun to help you sleep better is a great thing to do. So pretty simple, doing things like making sure you do get outside and in daylight first thing in the morning. Don't put your sunnies on in the morning, put them on later in the day. And then also, getting out of light, so dimming your lights at night at home, making sure you don't have bright light shining into your eyes and keeping you awake, and especially, of course, the blue light from our screens, which we're also addicted to, is a good thing to avoid at night when you're trying to go to sleep. My fourth aspect is being. So this talks about everything else that we don't cover in the other aspects. So I guess with this, I would certainly encourage you to be doing things like meditation. Start a meditation practice today. You can do meditation. Everybody can meditate, because meditation is, in fact, being aware of when we're thinking. It is not removing thoughts. It is not clearing thoughts. That is not possible unless you are enlightened or dead, as I heard someone say just the other day. So do prioritize that. Again, I've got lots of blogs on meditation on my website, so check those out, or feel free to message me if you'd like some more details. Affirmations are a lovely thing to use to help to activate each particular chakra. So for the crown, some that I'd suggest are: I am one with my higher self and the universe. I am grateful for the support the universe provides me. I live fully and completely in my body and my spirit. And remembering that we need to detox our thoughts and emotions as well. A great way to let go is to work with the moon, and the full moon is coming up in a couple of weeks. We've just had a new moon, so that is a great way to really use that energy to let go, especially of emotional things that we're struggling with. So keep that in mind. And again, feel free to send me a message if you have any questions. Energy healing, I will recommend for imbalance in any energy center at all. If you would like to do that with me, then please book now on my website. There's a button to allow you to do that. I'll put a link below as well. Don't forget that I have practices in 3 different areas in Victoria, Australia, but I also do offer remote services. So if you are not near me, or you can't get an appointment at a time at the best place for you, then please make an appointment for a remote session, and you will get all the same benefits that you do if you see me in person. And lastly, with surroundings, certainly, as I mentioned before, being in nature, being in the sun is going to help to activate this chakra and bring it into balance. Avoiding toxins, so a big one is artificial fragrances, which are present in so many household substances. So try to find the natural versions that don't have those fragrances. I would suggest checking out a website such as Low Tox Life for lots more information about this. Again, feel free to message me. Using essential oils and crystals is something that I will always suggest as well, and I'll put the details of which ones I would suggest for this chakra on the blog on my website when this is uploaded. And the other thing that you can do is wear white. So white is the color, white is the vibration of this chakra. It's often depicted as lavender just because that can be easier to, in graphic reproductions of things than white. But white is really the true color of this chakra. So get your white on, get white into your life wherever you can, and that's going to really help with balancing this chakra for you. I hope that was helpful. If you'd like any more information, as always, please feel free to reach out. In the meantime, be well.